a great story is not of a hero versus a villain. A great story is two heroes that just, they believe they're both heroes, but they believe that they're heroes on they're just on the opposite side. And of course, you're gonna think that guy's a villain, but they're gonna think you're the villain. Scar was right. Understanding character motivations is important. So when I say Mufasa had it coming, clearly if you're like reading that or if you're hearing that, you're thinking like, okay, that's coming from Scar's perspective, right? Because Scar is the primary antagonist in Lion King, but he's only the primary antagonist to certain characters in Lion King, right? If you're Simba, Mufasa, Timon and Pumbaa, the lionesses, like, yeah, he's your primary antagonist. But not to Scar. Scar's not the primary antagonist to himself. He's not thinking, man, like, I just really want to just start offing people and become king, right? His goal, he has other underlying motivations and goals that make Scar to himself not the enemy or not the antagonist in the story. So if you're going to write a poem, a story, or something like that from that person's point of view, it's incredibly important that if you're writing it from that person's point of view, that they're not the enemy in their POV. And that's really, really hard to do because, you know, if you're thinking about somebody that you consider to be bad, that you consider to be, this is the villain in the story, then like you're attaching all your negative emotions to that person or to that image or to that character. And so when you're attaching all those negative emotions, it's like it's really hard to see kind of clearly from that person's point of view. There's some questions that I would always implore people to ask, like when it comes to them writing their characters. And you ask this of, you know, your persona poems, because when you're going into your persona poems, you want to make sure that you have that. I mean, it's going to be hard because it's really hard to write something that kind of great on that kind of scale just because of what it took in order to get there. But when it comes to like your poems and individual pieces, think, why did your character act in such a way? So whatever your character did, why did your character do it? Why did your character think the things or the way that they did? So it's not just the actions, but again, we're taking it a little small level deeper of why it is that they thought those things. How did they treat other characters and why? So what is in the proximity between your character and other characters? What is that relationship and why is that relationship? And just lastly, in general, what leads the character to those specific kind of character motivations?